morning, everyone. How are you? Today, we are going to have a live in English. Yes, I hope you like it. The idea here today is to talk to Ewa Zemanek, a friend of mine. She's an English teacher too. And oops, she's there. Let me call her. Hello, Maria Celia. Hello, Eva. I'm going to call you. So we're going to have this conversation in English about her life.
Okay, and here I am.
Hello,
Hi.
dear. Good morning.
Good morning or good afternoon, depending where you are.
Yes, good afternoon for you, right?
Yeah, it's 3 p.m. where I am.
3 p.m.
hmm
Here it's 10 a.m., right?
Yeah,
It's
five hours.
it's a cold day in Curitiba, really well, not that cold, but we've been through a long winter. And there,
hmm
is it cold over there? Where are you?
I'm in Germany, in Düsseldorf, so it's we could say relatively close to the border with the Netherlands as well. It's not, and I can see we've got a
Okay,
visitor.
we have yes, we have guests.
Anyway, so it's been actually quite nice today. So it's sunny, but yeah, I wouldn't say that it's warm. It's probably around 15 or 16 degrees. So
All right,
yeah.
right. Well, here it must be around 10, 12. And for us, it's cold, right? I mean, our
Hmm.
sensation of cold is a bit different from yours, right?
One could say so, but I always say, and it's like a running joke among my friends, that I must have been in my previous life, I must have been born in a warm country, because
Yeah.
yeah, I feel much better when temperatures are over 20 degrees. I just like it much better. I like it when it's nice and sunny. I like it when the sky is blue. Yeah, so
Uh,
clearly.
Probably, Eva, probably. So before, oh, we've been talking and I haven't even introduced you. So guys, please meet Eva. She's a friend of mine. I met her in Malta,
Hmm.
like 3 years ago. I think three, 4 years
No,
ago.
could be four now,
Could be
actually.
four, right? Yes, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And she's an English teacher too. And I'm so happy she accepted this invitation to have some fun and talk. We are going to get to know her a little bit better today, to know about her life, her job, her interests. So please, Eva, could you please tell a little bit about yourself and introduce yourself?
I mean, you did warn me that this question would come up, but I always feel a bit
I told you.
uncomfortable talking about myself. Um, yeah, I was actually thinking about what to say, and I was like, I was of the impression it would be just so much easier to ask my family or friends about me. But what can I say?
Yes,
Actually,
what do you
I
do?
kind of rediscovered this yesterday, no, 2 days ago, with my new group of students, that I am a foodie. So basically speaking, the topic of food came up and we all started talking about food. And I was thinking, yeah, it's definitely one of the things I could say about myself. I'm a foodie. I enjoy good food. I
Mm.
am a keen traveler, so I really enjoy traveling. And I'm a teacher of English, yes, of course. So
Right? And
let's keep it nice and short.
yes, very good. But you're an English teacher, but you live currently in Düsseldorf, but you're not from Düsseldorf, right? Where are you from?
No, yeah, that's whenever someone asks me that question, I go, that's complicated. Okay, maybe not so complicated, but I was born in Poland. Then, when I was 18, I moved to England for some time. Then I moved back to Poland for some time. Then I lived in Australia and in New Zealand and then in Malta, where we met. Then I also had we could say a Spanish adventure. So we actually had the chance to spend almost half a year in Spain, living in Spain. I lived in France for some time, and yes, and now I am in Germany, in Düsseldorf.
All right.
So
You're originally from Poland.
Poland, yeah, yeah.
Yes. What's the name of your city? What's your country like?
Are
What
you
can
are
you
you
tell
sure
us?
you want me to tell you the name?
I am,
Yeah,
yes.
it's
I'm
one
a
it's
brave
one
girl.
yeah, it's one of those names that are really long and they are probably not that easy to pronounce. So okay, here it goes. It's Goczałkowice Zdrój, but it's not
Okay,
it's
I
not too
believe
far
you.
from Katowice. And I lived in Katowice for some time, so it's in the south of Poland, so that's where I am from. So Katowice is
Good.
probably easier to pronounce.
No, but I wouldn't even try, because I
Hmm.
totally believe you. I'm not even going to try to find in Google Maps because I won't be
Hmm.
able to spell it, to type it.
I'll
So
send you an
I'll
email
have
with
to
the name.
take her word. I'll have to take her word. And of course, I'm going to look for because I'm curious. I love to know about countries, and I know very little about Poland. So, what could you teach us or tell us about your country?
Oh, that's a good question. Hmm. Okay, so I would say, again, from my own perspective, if you want to come to visit Poland, do not come in winter. Winter is not pretty
Good.
in Poland, so definitely I would say choose spring or summer. But
Okay.
on a more serious note, I think we have a lot of beautiful places in Poland. So I would definitely say in when it comes to sightseeing, so tourist attractions, a lot to offer. Um, yeah, and okay, I don't know if it's a word of warning or actually it might help some people. Oops, I'm so sorry. To
No, that's okay.
actually, yeah, technology. I was hoping, yeah, I'll put the phone on the stand because I use my hands a lot when I speak, and now it's kind of fighting against me. So then let's just do it like this.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
So, coming back to the question, yeah, I think we are quite friendly towards visitors, or that's at least that's what I would like to think so. So basically speaking, when you or anyone else comes to visit, we want to be as welcoming and friendly as we can, which also means that we tend to feed people. We offer food all
But
the
that
time.
was the question. Marcella is here. Hi, Marcella. She's asking, what about food? Yes. What about the food?
Yeah, okay. Well, if you come to Poland or when you come to Poland, Marcella, then you will be served food all the time. And just to kind of to give you an idea what it is like, for some time I worked with a Dutch school and we had some Dutch students and Dutch teachers visiting Polish families. And one of the Dutch teachers asked me, okay, how do I say thank you, I'm not hungry anymore in Polish? Because he got to the point where he just couldn't have anymore. So I think that's how we express our love and hospitality, that we offer people food, a lot of
Mhm.
it. So yes, definitely. Yeah, do come and you will see that I'm right, or at least I hope you'll see.
But isn't it wonderful? It's beautiful, right? Because food is a worldwide language, right? Because
I would say so.
food,
I can see
right?
Marcella says, I would love Poland. Yeah, if you're a foodie
Right.
Marcella, then that's definitely one of the places to be.
Ah, yes, yes. And it's beautiful because when you prepare food, when you set a table,
Mm,
it's usually so full of love because I think it's really language, a way to
mhm.
communicate to people, right? To show love, to show your traditions. So I totally look.
Yeah.
She heard about food. I
That's
think
my kind of cat.
it's very lovely to involve people with
Mm.
food. I really think it's cool.
But
And what I
isn't it similar? Sorry to interrupt you. Isn't it similar in Brazil? Because some of my Brazilian
totally
students in Malta, they also actually said, "Oh, we found this Brazilian restaurant. We need to take you there." Because they were so excited that
exactly
they could share their culture or food, so to say,
yes.
um,
That's
with me.
totally true. It's exactly what happens here. We love serving people food too and showing our variety because Brazilian food, well, the size of Brazil, so you can imagine
Mhm.
how many different types of food we have,
Mm.
ingredients and everything. So we love to show off a little bit, you know?
Yeah.
Yes, yes, to show off our food skills. And one of the things that we do, we all, I mean, generally, we invite people home and we
Mm-hmm.
serve this beautiful table with the food you find in each region. So, for example, in Minas Gerais is a state here in Brazil. You will always, or probably almost always, be invited to join a table with pão de queijo, which is a kind of cheese bread, and
Mm-hmm.
coffee, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Corn cake. So it's so lovely. And in São Paulo, you have something different. And here in Curitiba, probably people will serve you a different kind of cake. We have here kind of
Mm.
it's named cuca or cookie. And you see, it's absolutely welcoming, right?
Couldn't agree more. Yeah, it's
Right.
it's
So,
quite funny, right? When
so
you think about the location of Brazil and Poland, yet it seems like both the Polish and the Brazilians have quite a lot in common when it comes to hospitality and sh showing hospitality to others, right?
yes,
Hmm.
through food. It's funny, but it's exactly like
Yeah.
this. And
Hmm.
what about your family? What's a tip? Oh, no. What was your childhood like in Poland? If you could say something, your school, the school you attend.
Mm, yeah, I mean, I grew up in the countryside. So basically speaking, it wasn't a big place. There were about 7,000 inhabitants. So my primary school wasn't really a really big school. I would say, so let me just calculate it very quickly. So three classes, around 30, so let's say 100. I would say probably there were around 700 students, maybe not even so many at that school. And then when I actually, yeah, when I decided, or actually it's not decided, you have to go to school in Poland until the age of 18. So when you finish primary school, or when I was a student, you would go to primary school until the age of 14 or 15. And then you had to move up and go to secondary school. So then I went to a secondary school to a town nearby. Of course, I had to catch a train and commute. But I would say, fortunately, I had a good childhood, and I lived in a house with a garden, which had both advantages and disadvantages, as you probably know. So on the one hand, it was a lovely place, you could actually sit there and relax. But at the same time, a big garden means a lot of work as well. Because it's not that we had a
Sure.
gardener, for example, to do that work for us. No, it was my parents, my sister, and myself, and yeah, we had to take care of the garden to make
Uh-huh.
the place look nice and pretty and in a way enjoyable, right? So to say.
All right.
Mhm.
All right. And how about university? Where did you go to university? What did you study?
Um, So I went to university in Poland. So that my university city was Katowice. So that's one of the big cities in the south of Poland. But I also spent some time studying in France. So at one point I got a scholarship and I had the chance to go and to study in France for some time. And I studied English, basically speaking English studies, so English literature. My bachelor thesis and then my master's thesis were in British literature, and yeah, and then I studied also in Australia because unfortunately the European qualifications, so teaching qualifications and the degree from Europe is not, so to say, recognized
Mm-hmm.
in Australia. So to be able to actually work and teach there, I had to make sure that I have international qualifications and not just
Mm-hmm.
European ones, so to say.
Just,
But
right? Just,
yeah, just
not
yes,
just.
in inverted commas, because yes, of course, they knew that on the one hand, they would say there that yes, we know that to get a degree in Europe is quite an achievement, so something that people can be proud of. I can see one of my former students there and a friend as well. Hi, Tiana. Lovely to see you. Um,
Look how cute.
so yeah, that's something I didn't know. Yeah, no, I. Okay, sorry, I have to focus again. Um, so yeah,
You're
they
entitled to
they
have fun.
knew they knew that I was. We have good universities in Europe, but at the same time, you need to have certain documents that will actually allow them to offer, for example, me a job, right?
Right, right, right. And then you studied English, right? English literature and
Hmm.
everything. Right.
Yeah,
Hmm.
in
And
institutions and linguistics and so on. Hmm.
do you remember your first job as an English teacher?
I do. Oh yeah, very clearly. It was, believe it or not, it was 24 years ago.
Oh, the other
24
day,
years ago, yeah. Hmm.
yesterday.
Yesterday. Um, and it was quite a funny story because when I went to university, my idea was to be an interpreter or a translator. So basically speaking, I was thinking I'll be helping people who do not speak English to be able actually to follow conversations or maybe conferences or books or articles and so on. So that was my idea.
All right.
And when I was in year three, um, one language school contacted me and they offered me a job. And the first thing I told them was, I'm not a teacher and I'm not planning on becoming one. Um, they didn't really take my no for an answer. So what they said was, um, like we heard about you a bit. I mean, one of the owners was my former teacher, so he knew what I was doing and how I was doing. He says, we would really like you to work for us. So how about you start working for us and you will see how you go. And you can quit, so you can decide, okay, I don't want to work here anymore, I don't want to teach anymore at any point. And I thought that it was
Mhm.
a fair deal, so to say. So
And where was it?
that was still in Poland. Um,
Right.
and so I still remember that I had classes. That's why I remember it so clearly because it still surprises me, how life can change. Um, so I had classes on Wednesdays and Thursdays. And after my first class, so one Wednesday, I had the feeling that I really enjoyed it. And I left the classroom thinking, oh, there must be something wrong with me because I really enjoyed it. And that's not the plan. I just I agreed to teach that lesson so that I could tell them, see, guys, that's not for me. Please find another teacher.
But
And then I taught another class on Friday and I still enjoyed it. And yeah, 24 hours later, 24 years later, I'm still here. So no, in
you
all
see.
fairness, I changed the course slightly because to be able actually to be a teacher, I needed to take some other courses at the university to be actually allowed to teach, to have the qualifications. But it wasn't really too difficult. So yeah, that one phone call pretty much changed a lot in my life.
Yes, yes, you know the ways that life can go, right?
Mm, yeah.
And especially having English. I think English
Hmm.
opens lots of doors in many, many fields,
Couldn't
in many,
agree
many
more.
areas,
Hmm.
right? That's why so many people want to learn English.
And
And
that's how we met.
exactly, look at that,
Hmm.
right? If it weren't for
Yeah.
this that English course there, right? For all the
Hmm.
students, so
Yeah.
I think it's life changing. Learning in our
Hmm.
case is a second language, right? So learning a second,
Indeed.
third language is always eye eye opener, and it's a new door. I would say window, but actually it's a new door you open to the
Mm.
world, right? Gives you totally different perspective.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And what's also funny, yeah, we talk about it with our students, and sometimes when we are just, let's say, whenever we have a chat, that we know that language is part of culture and so on. But then when you actually start learning another language, you realize how true that is. And just to give you an example, so when I moved to Germany, I couldn't speak a word of German. So the first thing I did, I enrolled myself. So I started an intensive German course, 100 hours a month. So
Wow.
that was really full on. So and lots of homework and lots of vocabulary and so on. And one day I was quite happy that I could actually, start communicated. I could start communicating in German. And I was texting someone and I sent them a message and I finished the message with um, bis gleich, which means something like, okay, see you soon. And then the person texted me, and I wasn't really sure what they meant. And then I asked Lutz, who is a native speaker of German. I said, "Why is she saying that?" I was like, "Have I forgotten about something?" He says, "Oh, because you wrote this gleich, which means see you soon, but that's this soon meaning, okay, maybe 15 minutes or half an hour. If you want to say the see you soon, meaning, I don't know, maybe next week or in the future, we have another word for that. We have bis bald." And I was
Of
thinking, yeah,
course.
when you think of, sorry to say so, we are speaking about stereotypes now, right? But when you think about Germans, quite often people say, oh yeah, they are punctual, they're efficient. So clearly, time and the concept of time is really important in their culture. And then when you,
Mhm.
as a foreigner, arrive here and start learning the language, you realize that there is actually a lot of truth in it. Because, yeah, for a person born in Poland, we have one word for soon, and it can mean in 10 minutes, and it can mean next week or whenever we see each other again.
Uh-huh.
Not in German.
You see,
So,
it's full of culture, it's full of meaning, and it's full, and this difference that we only get when we learn
mm,
another language, right? And especially in English, I think English has this even bigger advantage. That is, many people speak English, right? You don't speak Portuguese. I don't speak Polish. I don't speak
now I can
German.
say obrigada, but that's as
All
far as my
right,
Portuguese goes.
de nada. Good, but it's a start. It's a start.
Mm,
And then English is this language that can put us in this kind of communication,
mm,
right? Can
mm,
open this bridge between you and I to have this conversation. And I really think it's amazing,
mm,
right?
mm.
I
I
think
couldn't
it's
agree more.
it's magical, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, we would see each other, and
Yeah.
fine, which is fine, but the opportunity it brings, right?
Mm.
I really insist on the whole new world. Look, she
Yeah.
wants to. Because it's life changing, right?
Oh
And then
yeah, that
you
is
fell
true.
in love with teaching English, right? And are you currently teaching English? Where,
Hmm.
to whom?
What's her name? Because now I really want.
She's Frida. Frida, say
Okay.
hi.
Hi, Frida. A little ball
Oh,
of fur, huh?
yes. Usually I put her in my bedroom and I close the door, but today I forgot, so I cannot stand up
I
and
mean,
just go there.
I
she,
know it might be a
she
name
stay
for
here.
you, but I have a soft spot for pets. So yeah, like a cat or a dog makes it so much more fun. So I'm glad you forgot to close the door.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so no, I still teach English. I work at good morning. I don't seem to know this person, but good morning.
Good morning, as welcome.
Um, so I teach general English at a university here in Düsseldorf, and I also I
He
also
said
yeah,
hi.
hi Frida, exactly. And I also teach business English at a university in a little, well, I wouldn't say it's a little town because, and it's a big campus actually, but it's not Düsseldorf. It's a town probably around 20 kilometers away from Düsseldorf, or city 20 kilometers away from Düsseldorf. So it's actually, there are quite a few universities here. So I have to admit that I was a bit worried because I wasn't sure, how it will look regarding job hunting. But fortunately, it's been okay pretty much since I moved here, so I can't complain. And I really enjoy teaching both courses. So actually, I'm starting 4 more business English courses next week because the academic year here in Germany starts in October. So fingers
Right.
crossed. I hope
Oh,
my new students will
always.
be nice and hardworking.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Look, and what's the difference? How do you feel? Not about this professional difference, but how do you feel about teaching English, teaching business English, and teaching English as a second language in English
Hmm.
courses? What's the difference? How do you feel about it?
Well, hmm, that's a that's an interesting question, but it's definitely quite, I would say, a complex question, so to say. So
Hmm.
basically speaking, when it comes to teaching English as a second language, so for example, when you had, or when I had my students, let's say, especially in Australia, because let's be honest, in Malta, the students who came to study in Malta, quite often they were there for 2 weeks, maybe 4 weeks. Yes, some of them actually stayed a bit longer, but the idea was to come to improve their English and then to go back somewhere else. My students
Hmm.
in
Exactly.
Australia, most of them were there um, with that plan of actually staying there for good.
All
So
right.
in that way, they were, I would say, 99% of them were really motivated and I would say even determined. So they really wanted to improve their English because they knew that it would help them to get a better job, to pass, for example, one of the exams that they had to pass to, I don't know, apply for another type of visa, so-called, for
Hmm.
example, or to even to apply for, yeah, for their permanent residency at the end. So again, you have to take an exam and you have to, oh, and you have to get a particular score to
Hmm.
actually, for example, to qualify for, let's say, for the residency documents and so on. Um, when it comes to teaching, for example, business English here, it really depends on the course and on the person. Some students are happy to do the course because they know that they work, let's say, in an international company, or they would like to work for in an international company, so they see the point in actually taking the course.
Right.
There are some students who are not thinking of leaving Germany, and they feel kind of a bit pushed because it's one of the obligatory courses. They have to do the course to finish, to graduate. So then they say, yeah, we know we have to take the course, we have to pass the exam, but it's not really that we need it. So,
Uh-huh.
which is true. So sometimes you can see that little difference, I would say, in how motivated they are.
That's what I was going to say, because it's all about motivation,
Mm.
right?
Oh yeah,
It's all about
definitely.
it because, yes, I can see at school, I teach English for 50 plus students,
Hmm.
and I can tell you that 100% of them are there because they want to be
They
there,
want to. Hmm.
right?
Hmm. Yeah.
So you can imagine the level of motivation they have. So when we see this thing, oh, I have to do this, I have because of the university or because of the work you're at, the motivation is not, it's, if it's not from within, it's complicated, right? It's
Mm.
complicated. You
Hmm.
may
Hmm.
grow love for it, you may grow fond of it, but when you have it, I say that I have the, I'm sorry, Eva, but I have the best students in the world because
Hmm.
100% of them really want to be there. There are some here.
Yeah,
I
I know
can
what you
see.
mean.
Hi, Lucimara. Hi, Chris. I can see some students here,
Hmm.
and but it's this, right? And
Hmm.
the objective you have, right? But
Yeah.
either way, I still believe English is one of the best things you can, one of the best investments you can do in yourself, right? You can do for yourself. Okay, we have here a testimony. Eva
Yeah.
is more than an English teacher. She is human, and that made all the difference in my learning. Tiana, couldn't agree more. I just fell in love with Eva when I met her. Yes, as a teacher, she was so full of energy, good, positive energy, and her presence, along with her
It's
beautiful
always
accent.
a two-way street. So I always say that it's easy to be a good teacher when you have good students. So yeah. And
Good.
and
It's a
and and
win-win
Tiana
situation.
was a student. She became a friend. Yeah, for those of you who are wondering why the green apple is there, it was a running joke among me and my students. So whenever a student would arrive late, and they were very apologetic. They kept just saying, "Oh, I'm so sorry I'm late." I would say, "Okay, next time we arrive late, I would like to have an apple on my table." That's how you can apologize. So an apple for the teacher. And and I can't remember if it was Tiana or if it was another student who actually arrived one day. They arrived with those apples, and they knew that somehow I think I told them, or I had a choice of apples, and I said I like the green ones. So once another student came to the class late, and he said, "I'm so sorry, I'm late here. I'm late. Here's an apple for you." And Tiana's comment was, "She likes the green ones." So,
Right, now I know that too. Good
mhm.
idea.
Yeah, but in
Inside
all in
joke,
all
yes.
fairness, yes, in all fairness, I wasn't just, trying to make sure that my students feed me, but I would sometimes also feed them. So when I had some sweets from Poland or some traditional Maltese goodies, so to say, I was more than happy to share. And some of my students also had the chance to actually traditional restaurant in Malta with me and some other teachers. So, but yeah,
And
the
and
the
and here we're talking about food again.
and yes, I
You
told you
see?
I'm a foodie.
I love it. Me totally too. So I love
Mm,
it. Very good. Maria Celia, hello. Another student who is here too. And it's, yeah, it's very, very lovely. And Eva,
yeah.
tell us
Mhm.
about one day in your routine? Because this culture, this different cultures we have all over the world
Mm-hmm.
can be easily translated in our routine, in our habits. So, for example,
Mm-hmm.
you said you work in a town near yours. So, do you go
Mm-hmm.
by train? Do you go by car? What's your routine like?
Mm-hmm.
One ordinary day.
I mean, oh, so it depends because I still teach online as well. So there are days, for example, on Friday, today we've got Thursday, right? So tomorrow. So tomorrow I only have online classes. But so I go to the university and teach there. So on Tuesday, Thursday, no, or Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday are my university days. Yes. On Monday, I don't really have classes as such, but it's always a full day with paperwork, with me preparing for the week and
Of
so on,
course.
lots of corrections and so on and so forth. So sometimes it's the longest day of the week, even though it's not a teaching day, so to say.
Yeah, I
But
know, I know it.
yeah, yeah, I mean, you're a teacher yourself. I don't have to explain that to you, I'm pretty sure.
No, but it's interesting
Um,
because we are one of the only jobs in the world that we work before we arrive
mm,
for work, and then we work, and after work we work a little bit more too,
yeah, yeah,
because
yeah.
we need to prepare the other day for work.
Hmm. Definitely. So it all depends. When I go to the university here in Düsseldorf, I walk. It's probably around 20 or 25 minutes away. So it's a nice walk. So most of the time I would just walk there. When I go to the other university, it depends. Sometimes I drive and sometimes I take a train. It depends on the day, depends what time I start. For example, next week, I know that on Wednesdays I'll be starting after 8. So I think I will drive because it's just a bit faster.
Right.
So yeah, it all depends. And yes, in all fairness, so since it's been now what, more than 2 years since we started teaching online at the university as well. So when Corona hit, we just started teaching online. So we were supposed to start our summer semester in March 2020. They postponed the semester. They said, okay, we will start maybe 3 or 4 weeks later. At that time, everyone was of the impression that things will go back to normal by then. Yeah,
Mhm.
we all know what
I
happened.
remember.
And so 4 weeks later, they decided that we would teach online. And now, at least in my case, it will be the first semester at that university when I'm back on campus, when I'm actually in a physical classroom again. With the university in Düsseldorf, I already spent the summer semester teaching face-to-face classes. But with
Hmm.
so it's called Hochschule Niederrhein, so it's a University of Applied Sciences, Niederrhein. So it will be my first semester face to face, so to say, with my students
Again.
after more than 2 years. Hmm.
Yes, yes, it's completely insane, right? To think of it, and now to return to the activity is very,
Hmm. Hmm.
it's
Hmm.
worldwide, right? It's everywhere. So very, very good. And how about lunch, dinner? Do you eat your lunch at university, or you come home and you prepare? What is it
Again,
like?
it all depends on the day. So, for example, on Tuesday I have lunch at home because actually when I finish, it's more or less the time for me to come home and to actually have a snack or so, and then I teach some more classes in the afternoon, but I teach them online. Wednesdays and Thursdays are slightly longer, and they call it Mensa. So we've got this nice canteen, nice university restaurant. Um, so it's also quite easy to get some actually very nice food. right?
Yes, of course.
On, of course, right, on campus. So that's, yeah, that's also an option, so to say. And quite often I just have a sandwich with me, or a salad or some fruit. And and I don't know how it is with you, but that's also another thing. When I'm busy teaching, sometimes I don't even realize that I'm hungry. I just need, yeah, I need my water or coffee sometimes, but I only really realize that I'm hungry when I have finished teaching. And then I realized, I was like, oh, I've just spent, for example, 6 hours teaching. I mean, yes, okay, with some breaks in between, and I haven't had anything to eat. Normally, I'm hungry every 3 or 4 hours, right? But when I teach, I
When
don't
you're
think about it.
involved, right?
Yep. Hmm. So
Yes, it's completely different. Hmm. And what time do you get home? And I mean, usually. And what do you do in your evening? What time do you go to bed? How is that? Do you watch Netflix
I
like we
do.
do here
I
at
do.
night?
I
Yeah.
indeed, yeah, especially like I said, in Germany, winter is not the greatest. So last, you know it, I already told you about that when we last talked. So we spent last winter, we kind of escaped to Spain. So the weather was so much nicer there. So when I lived there for some time, then we went for a walk in the evening. We lived on the coast, so we would just spend about at least an hour walking along the coast. So about two or
Oh.
three kilometers to the port, and then back, and then towards the beach. So that was lovely. Yeah, unfortunately here in winter, it's it's a bit more difficult to go for walks in the evening or in the afternoon. So yes, Netflix is definitely an option, reading books, going out with friends, and having nice dinners, obviously. Oh, and sometimes correcting, yeah, graph descriptions or essays, yeah, whatever needs to be corrected. Hmm.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes. Oh, Eva, this is so cool. Thank you so much for being here. It was such a
my
pleasure
pleasure.
to know you a little bit, to practice English, right? Because many students are here, many people trying
Mm.
to understand this conversation. So lots of vocabulary. I loved it. I loved it. And I would like to ask you, do you have or do you want to share anything else, to say something else,
No,
to add?
I would like to say thank you very much for inviting me here and for having me here. And it was lovely to see, some of the people that I haven't had the chance to talk to for ages, actually. Yeah, it was lovely to see them here, and to be able to say hi. It was lovely to say hi to some people that I had never met. Was great to see your cat.
Thank
So,
you.
yeah.
She loved you too. You see, she was
Mm.
around all the time. And I'd like to invite you to go to our
Hmm.
online school anytime you want. We'll talk. I will invite you to participate in one of our classes. My students, and many of them remembered you because they were in
Hmm.
Malta too. And after we had that activity at school about the postcards, remember?
Hmm. Yeah, the picture that you actually posted,
Right.
right? Advertising our life is the picture, me holding one of the postcards I got from Curitiba. So,
Right. So it's so lovely. It's a beautiful chain that we built somehow, right? So thank you so very much. I hope you have a wonderful weekend and
you too.
please come to Brazil because I want to give you lots of food. I want to show you
Now
all
you're
about this
talking, huh?
country. Right now I got
Mm.
you, right? Now I
Oh yeah,
convinced you. I
definitely,
know I did.
definitely. Yeah.
Honey, thank you
No,
so
so
very
once
much
again,
and
thank
thank
you
you
so
guys.
much, and yeah, thank you to everyone who has joined.
Okay, darling. See you.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you. Bye, guys. Thank you.